did a sweep called Innocence Lost, and they rescued 45 children in February. 45 children they rescued in a cross-country state. Some of those people were from Toledo, Ohio, and some of them were from Lima. Yet, again, we're not seeing this on the nightly news. And Toledo is the #1 recruiting hub for underage prostitution in the United States. The #1 recruiting hub. Right? The FBI has released a statement that will be appearing in the paper this Sunday that Columbus is just as big of a problem as Toledo. That's the first time that has been spoken out loud. So, why is this happening? Because we're not looking. We don't think this happens here. We need to kind of return to the time when we were nosy neighbors, right? When everybody, if you leave the mall at night and you see a girl standing in the parking garage, do we walk by her and say, oh, she must be a terrible kid? Her parents let her out this late at night, up and no good. Yeah, that's fair. We are rushing to get home, right? We have to work the next morning. We have things to do. But a lady in Buckeye Lake had the same feeling. She saw a house across the yard from her, an older lady, and she saw a little kid, 12 years of age, around every once in a while. But she didn't see the school bus come over. She told me she's homeschooled. And then she's like, it just kind of ate at her. One of those gut feelings, right? And she said, well, geez, maybe I just see too much CSI. Maybe I'm just watching all those shows too much. But she had that gut feeling. And then one night she looked out and she saw all these cars coming home from that house. And so she called the police. And she said, you know what, I'm not just a crazy old lady and watch too much TV, but I have to ask you to check this out. I wouldn't feel good about myself if I didn't ask. So sure enough, they investigated, and the grandma and dad were prostituting the little 12-year-old girl out of the house. But not far from here. We've had numerous cases of kids being kidnapped from Columbus and taken, and even sold right to their own house. Human trafficking is really difficult to wrap our minds around. I know that. We don't like to think that it happens here. And we're educated to know that it's global trafficking. We know what that is. We know what labor trafficking is. Sex tourism. We know that human trafficking is child soldiers, child brides. Sometimes international adoptions can be human trafficking. Organ trafficking is very popular right now in these times. But it doesn't happen here, right? It just comes in a different form here. It just looks different. It comes in the form in the United States of kidnapping kids right off the streets, as in Toledo, Ohio. It comes in the form of enticing them and tricking them off the internet. Older boyfriends who groom them and tell them that they love them and show them the attention they're not getting at home, or being sold by family members. These are all actual cases of survivors I know in Ohio. We really need to open up our eyes to this, to spread awareness on this, to tell people. I always ask my audience to do me a favor. It's very hard to do this. I ask them, when you leave, please go tell 2 people what you heard tonight. Because that's how we start to change this. We have to bring awareness about this. It's not going to change. He already says, I didn't hear it. So go home and tell 2 people what you heard. We need to slow down and look beneath the surface because it's there. We just have to know what the signs are. Violence is the reason that this is growing. How this is happening. Man is the reason. But we're all causing it to continue because we're not doing anything about it. It will require each and every person to stop slavery once and for all in our country. Slavery now is more prevalent. There are more slaves today in the world than when it was legal. There is no country, even India and China, there is no country where slavery is legal in this world. Yet we have more slaves today. And sure, economics plays a part into that. But it's also our lack of awareness about doing anything about it. How many of you guys know about fair trade? Anybody know about fair trade? Fair trade? Alright. Clothes on your back. Going to Walmart. I went to Walmart one day And I had to buy 10 t-shirts for my son for camp. I'm a single mom. I was like, oh great, this is gonna cost me. And I saw a rack for $1 t-shirts. I'm like, yeah, all right, this is great. Thank you God. And I went up there and I held that $1 t-shirt in my hand, and I thought, wow, they have to be making money. They're not going to lose money off of this. No way. It's a business. They have a lot of employees to pay. So who didn't get paid? Who didn't get paid in that? Somebody didn't get paid to sell me a $1 t-shirt, that's for sure. So we are allowing this to happen because we're not thinking about where the clothes come from, where our food comes from, right? And not educating ourselves on the products that are out there that the companies don't care how cheap they just want their product cheap so they can sell it to us for more. We need to investigate that and really just step up to the plate. We are the only country in the world that doesn't know about fair trade and buy things that are organic and certified. We're the only ones that don't know much about this. So it really is a time of change. We need to talk to our youth about this, warn them. If something looks too good, it probably is too good. If someone's 10 years older and they're showing you a little attention, there's probably a reason why, right? That guy that's talking to you on the internet, he sounds real good. Well, there's a reason why. Those modeling pictures that someone's offering you to get for free, there's a reason why. That job that sounds so good, that summer job in Japan for singing, because you want to be a singer someday, sounds a little too good to be true, and that's for sure. And there's a reason why. And we need to talk to the kids about this. Any of you guys seen the movie Taken? Okay. So men love this movie. Men are just like, yeah, this is great. And kids too. And they always ask me, Theresa, what's your opinion on it? And I always tell them it's a very accurate description of what can happen to a young girl traveling to another country. Very, very accurate. Very common, I'd say. The only thing that is not accurate is that most of us don't have a dad like that. I dreamed for nights to have a dad like that, and they most don't exist. So, and then again, the other aspect of it was that it shows an American girl going to another country. Have you seen any movies of American girls being trafficked right here in the United States? We have movies here, like what's the prostitution one, Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman. That's what we have here. So everybody here thinks differently about prostitution. They don't think about prostitution that way in other countries. So we really need to stop, look beneath the surface, kind of change the way we think of things and look at things. Because slavery is alive and well in the United States. And it's in your backyard. It's everywhere in Central Ohio, in every there has actually been a trafficking case in every state in the United States. There's that bad folly that we don't know about. It just looks different here. But the victims all suffer the same violence, mentally and physically, and the same shame. We stay in silence because we're forced to for so long, and then when we get out of the situation, if we're lucky enough to, nobody wants to hear our story. Nobody wants to hear that. My ex-husband, who I was married to for 10 years, doesn't know because he never wanted to hear it. That's another slap in the face for a victim when you attempt to tell your story and people don't want to hear it or they don't believe it. When I went on the Today Show, I was on for 9 minutes, and that included clips on TV and an interview with a U.S. prosecuting attorney as well. So figure 3 minutes, right? There were 297 comments on a blog right after that about how this is impossible, it can't be true, she's lying, she wanted it, she's a whore, because she's not prosecuting these guys and saying who they are on national TV, it can't be true. Probably 90% of the comments were negative. That's what we have to face with. And that's why so many of us say, forget it, I'm not doing it. Yeah. Because of reactions like that. And we face that with law enforcement. We face that with just the common, with the counselors that we walk into their office. After the counselors are done crying and bawling, we leave and we don't come back. the counselors were like, oh my gosh, really going on.